As you work in Excel, it's inevitable that you'll encounter errors in your work. Some of these errors will be obvious and others less so. In this cell here is a fairly typical error, and the error message here describes the problem. When I hold my mouse pointer over the warning sign here, we're being told that the formula or function is dividing by 0 or an empty cell. You may already know that it's impossible to divide by 0. Because there is no answer, Excel can't show one, and so it shows an error message instead. The error message is telling you what you've done and is a prompt to you to change the formula. Here in this cell is another error. And if I click on the cell and click on this warning indicator, you'll see that the formula contains unrecognized text. Let's look at it on the formula bar. What I've done is to type sum this instead of sum. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the wrong characters and then press enter. The error message has disappeared. The answer is now entered into the cell. There's another error here in the cell next door. This looks like a reasonably formed addition, but instead of an answer, we're getting a dash. The problem is we've got a circular reference. Let's look at this formula. It adds D6, D7, D8, and D10. What's happening is that the cell is being added to itself. The calculation can't be completed because it would go on forever. Every time the cell is added to itself, the answer changes, and Excel keeps on calculating until a worksheet is stable, until the answers don't change, and this one's going to change ad infinitum. Of course, the reference here should be to cell D9, not to D10, but you can see here too that when you have a circular reference, you'll see a reference to that on the status bar, so it's fairly easy to identify that you've got a problem, and here we'll fix it. By changing D10 to read D9, the dash has disappeared, the answer is now in the cell, and the indication that we have a circular reference has gone from the status bar. There's another error over here. In this case, Excel has given us the answer to the formula, but it's a little bit concerned. It's telling us that the formula in this cell differs from the formulas in this area of the worksheet. Excel has looked at the formulas in this column and it's recognized a pattern in how they're written. This formula does not match the pattern. It reads multiply h9 by 2 when it should really read multiply h4 by 2 if the pattern is to be consistent. When Excel sees a problem like this, the shortcut menu will offer a solution. Here we can copy the formula from the cell above. That will maintain the consistency of the formulas, and now the error indicator or the potential error indicator has been removed from the cell. There's another error in this worksheet and you can't see that very easily at all. It's here. What I did was to manually enter the handling values into these cells, and I've entered the wrong value. It should be 15. We could have avoided this problem by creating a formula to calculate the handling, and we'll see how to do that in an upcoming video. Of course, there are all sorts of types of errors that can creep into worksheets. There's also the logic error where we type equals 4 plus 3 times 2, and we expect the answer to be 14 when it's actually 10. There's nothing inherently wrong with this formula at all. It just doesn't give us the answer we expect. Some errors will result in messages like the name or divide by 0. Some will give you a dash. Some will give you a triangle in the cell indicating an inconsistent formula, and others you won't be able to identify easily at all. There's always a potential for errors to occur in your worksheets, some obvious and others not. It's advisable to take care and always check your results carefully.